Hello everybody and welcome to another video, and today we're going to be revisiting Clouds. Now I first checked this band out right at the beginning of the year. This was literally the first video I did of 2021 on January 1st, when I came back after the Christmas break. And I checked out a track called Images and Memories, I think it was called, and I really enjoyed the music. You know, I'd found the band before I did the reaction. They came up on my YouTube feed, and I had a quick look at a piece of music because I judging by the picture that was linked with the thumbnail, I thought it was going to be some sort of instrumental music, and you know, I love instrumental music. But when I listened to it, it turned out to be doom metal, and anybody who's watched this channel for an extensive amount of time knows that I love doom metal. It is possibly my favourite genre of metal music. So I immediately loved it. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. So then I went on to do a reaction video at the beginning of the year. And today we're going to be looking at a more recent release by them, a track called See the Sky with Blind Eyes. And I'm quite looking forward to this because, like I said, I really enjoyed the last track of theirs that I checked out. I really enjoyed doom metal, and, you know, it's always fun to find new music, even if it's by a band you already know. I do have some lyrics here. They come from directly underneath the video, so hopefully they should be accurate. But we shall see. So we'll dive into this and see what we've got. So See the Sky with Blind Eyes by Clouds. Let's have a look. Well, there we go. See the Sky with Blind Eyes by Clouds. It's a beautiful piece of music. Right towards the end there, kind of reminded me of a little bit of Anathema, sort of around Alternative 4 Anathema. That was a beautiful piece of music. It wasn't at all like the last track we checked, which was a bit heavier, had a slightly different vocal style. But in here, we had the clean vocal style, brilliantly executed. Right towards the end there, all the hair on my arms just stood on end. I got goosebumps as soon as it went into that sort of heavier piece of music. All the hairs on my arms just went, whoop, straight up. But the music in the track was so minimalist. You had the guitar with the cymbals in the background occasionally, and then you had the Spanish guitar coming in on top of that. Then when you came to the chorus, you had an electric guitar sort of wailing in the background, but not overpowering anything. It was brilliantly done. You can hear the lyrics very clearly. The vocal performance was brilliant, quite powerful, and quite emotional, which is something that you really want from doom metal. You want to feel the sort of emotion behind, the actual lyrics you want to hear the emotion in the song. And I think that's what really sort of elevated it right at the end when they went into that slight heavier moment. You could feel the intensity in the song, because the song seems to be talking about a guy who's had his heart broken, had been left, whether he's died or not, I don't know, or whether someone he cares about has died. It just seems to be a guy who's given up on life because he's lost someone he cares about, maybe. And right at the end, when it picked up to that slightly heavier bit, even then it wasn't overpoweringly heavy for the style of the rest of the song. It really added that sort of intense, emotional sort of, I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but it, really had that amazing, intense, emotional moment towards the end of the track. And even though it was a lyric video and you heard all the lyrics, we'll go through them anyway. It says, helpless and confined with darkness on my side, dreams I forever lost in time and whisper. So those opening lines make it sound like he's sort of depressed, darkness by my side, he's surrounded by darkness, could very well be depression, dreams I forever lost in time, dreams that he had that he's sort of given up on, or he no longer has them because there's no viable way for them to come true, because he's maybe lost someone, possibly. And then, after just those 4 lines, it comes in with the chorus. I will walk alone. I will tear my world. I will see the sky with blind eyes. Do you see me there holding on to my broken heart? So right there, do you see me there holding on to my broken heart? So he's saying, something has broken his heart. And he says, I will walk alone. I will tear my world. I'll see the sky with blind eyes. So he's basically saying, I'm going to be by myself. I'm going to be walking forever alone because you're not here anymore. I'll see the sky with blind eyes. I actually like that line because to me it seems to be like, I'll stare at things of beauty, but I won't recognize it anymore because, I have nothing. I feel such misery. I can't appreciate the beauty in anything anymore. That's what it kind of feels like it's saying to me. I can look upon beautiful vistas, but because I've lost this thing that I care so much about, I can't see the beauty in anything anymore. I'm so miserable. I might as well be looking upon the most beautiful things in the world and not being able to see, because from this point on, I can't see anything of beauty anymore. Counting the days since I fell and darkness took me in, I've laid my dreams to rest, left them in your path, the one you left behind. And then it goes back into that chorus, I will walk alone, I will tear my world, I will see the sky with blind eyes. Do you see me there holding on to my broken heart? But as he says there, counting the days since I fell and darkness took me in, I've laid my dreams to rest. So he's got nothing more to, he can't think of anything else to do with his life after this point where he's lost this person. All he does is count the days since that happened. He's laid all his dreams to rest. Everything he thought the future was going to hold for him with this person. He thought he was going to share the rest of his life with this person. He thought this person was going to be around forever. But, this person's just disappeared now. So he's got nothing to look forward to anymore. He feels there is nothing more for him to enjoy, to look forward to. So he's let all his dreams basically die. He's left them I left them in your path, the one you left behind. So, yeah. Left them in her path, or in their path, because his path was with them at one point. They both were merged into one, but the other person's path has stopped or diverged, gone a different way. So everything that he had hoped and dreamed for has disappeared along with this person. So it really is a beautiful song, and of course they went into the more powerful piece of music and they did the chorus again. It's a beautiful piece of music, a very emotional piece of music. Like I said, you can feel that in the performance of the vocals. You can hear that in the performance of the music. I think it's a great piece of music. It's not particularly heavy, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. If music can make you feel something, then it's doing its job properly. That's something I've always felt about music. If it evokes an emotional response in you, then it's doing its job properly. And I love music that does that. I've mentioned hundreds and hundreds of times before. I love songs that have a meaning behind it, songs that have stories behind it. I find that very important in music. Rather than being a shallow, vapid, messageless piece of noise. I prefer there to be something to it, some substance to it. Like I can listen to music without it, but I do like to have that extra sort of connection with the music. And this, very powerful, very beautiful. Absolutely loved it. And as you can see right at the end there, it said there's a new album coming out later October 14th, I believe it said. And then that'll probably be about the time that this video comes out, since I am recording this in advance. But yeah, I do like this band. I really enjoyed their music since I first heard them. And yeah, another great track. But I don't know what else to say about that, so I'll leave that as it is. If anybody would like to suggest a track for me to react to, then please do so by all means. You can drop a comment in the comment section below, or message me on my Facebook or my Instagram, or you can even message me through Patreon, where you can also help to support this channel, which would of course be a massive help to me, since every piece of content I create immediately gets demonetized the moment it touches the internet, which is a little bit frustrating, but it is what it is. There's an option in Patreon where you can get your suggestion jumped to the front of the queue if you should so desire it. There's a limit on how frequently you can do that, but that's just to be fair to other people who suggest tracks through, say, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram comments. If you do suggest a track through YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, do know it could take me a while to get around to your suggestion, since I do get suggested so many new tracks every single day that my list grows faster than I can record the videos. But I do write down every suggestion I get. It just might take me a while to get around to it, because I do have quite a lot. Also, MetalHead Reacts is a proud supporter of the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, a British-based charity whose goal is to put an end to hate crimes, and one of the major facets of that is hate crimes against people of the alternative community, and it's something I believe in very, very strongly, and it's also something that gets very widely ignored. It sort of gets brushed under the carpet and treated as no big deal, but the thing is, it is a very big deal. This sort of thing has been going on for decades. It's been going on for longer than I've been alive. But no matter how many people get harmed as a result of these violent attacks against people of the alternative community, it constantly gets ignored. It constantly gets brushed under the carpet. And that's something that really, really needs to change. Because we're not just talking about, insults being shouted across the street or getting shoulder rammed as, you're minding your own business walking down the road. We're talking about real violent crimes where people are getting brutally and violently assaulted, sometimes getting hospitalized, sometimes with broken limbs, and sometimes even more life-threatening injuries, just purely for the fact that they listen to alternative music and wear alternative fashion. You know, these sort of attacks go on every single day all around the world, and nothing ever gets said. The last time there was a wide-spoken, part of it, last time this sort of thing was widely spoken about was 14 years ago, when Sophie Lancaster and her boyfriend Rob Maltby were violently and brutally assaulted by a group of 5 or 6 people who beat them, kicked them, punched them, knocked them to the ground, and stamped on their heads so violently they both ended up in comas. Now, Rob Maltby thankfully survived. He was in a coma for around about a week and a half, maybe a little bit longer, but he thankfully survived. Sophie Lancaster, on the other hand, she was in a coma for 13 days before she succumbed to her injuries and she died. This young woman, she was 20 years old, was beaten to death just because of her taste in music. Now, when this happened, this was all over the news, and rightfully it should have been, but, over time, other news stories came in and it sort of faded into the background. But in the 14 years since that happened, we've not heard any news story similar. Nothing like this has been reported since in that time. Yet there have been several hundred, if not several thousand, similar incidents in that time. The biggest difference is no one died. And that is shameful. We shouldn't have to wait for someone to lose their life before this gets spoken about. We shouldn't have to wait for someone to die before something gets done. People are getting beaten to within an inch of their life just purely because of their taste in music, and nothing is getting said. Every single day we hear about all these other hate crimes like sexism, racism, homophobia, transphobia, religious hatred, ableism, what have you. And we hear every facet of these, from the most violent and heinous of these crimes where someone gets brutally murdered because of their sexual identity, their religious beliefs, the colour of their skin, what have you, down to the most petty and childish of these crimes, where some entitled white woman is calling the police because a family of colour are having a picnic in a public space. We hear every facet of these in every walk of media. Yet when it comes to someone from the alternative community getting violently and brutally assaulted, we hear nothing. A couple of years ago, a young woman in Scotland, again about 20 years old, violently, brutally assaulted twice on the same night, again by a group of 5 or 6 people. Again, beaten, kicked, punched, knocked to the ground, and brutally and violently assaulted twice on the same night by the same group of people. This wasn't in the news. This wasn't all over the internet. This wasn't all over TV. This wasn't all over social media. Nothing was said. Okay? Now, had that assault resulted in the death of that young woman, I can guarantee you it would have been all over the news, and people would have been crying and wailing and saying what a tragedy it was, how terrible it is, how can this sort of thing happen. But that's the key point. We shouldn't need to wait for it to get that far. But if we carry on ignoring it the way people are, it's only going to get worse. By ignoring it, we're letting the people committing these crimes think they can get away with it. And if we carry on ignoring it, it's only a matter of time before what happened to Sophie Lancaster happens again. And we just cannot allow that to happen. And this is exactly what the Sophie Lancaster Foundation is all about. They want to bring more attention to the fact that this sort of thing is happening on a daily basis. And, it's not just simple little things. These are violent, brutal crimes that, if they go unchecked, will result in the death of another person over something as trivial as their taste in music. It's ridiculous on the face of it, but it happens, and it needs to be stopped. So if you'd like to find out more about the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, there's a link to their website in the description below. You can go over there, find out what they're working on at the moment, find out what their overall goal is, because they can explain it a lot better than I can. And if you can help them out in any small way, obviously don't feel obligated to do so, but if you can help them out in any small way, whether it be a small donation through their website or something as simple as, one of these Sophie wristbands, maybe even one of those, they've got a whole bunch of other really cool stuff going on over there. And, the smallest amount can make the biggest difference. And the sooner we bring more attention to this, the sooner we get more people talking about this, the sooner we can help to stamp out prejudice, hatred, and intolerance everywhere. But I'm going to leave that as it is for the time being. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.